What's going on, blade lovers out there? This is Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we have a super cool little front flipper to show you guys today. This is the Kizer Apus. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, this knife was sent to me by my good friend Ryan. He is also known as Stud Fishing on the platforms here on YouTube. Thank you so much, sir, for sending this and quite a few other knives for me to check out. You will see more of his knives in later videos. This one kind of spoke to me for a second. I was like, that's super cool. It's super different. I had no idea this thing even existed. And so I was very, very happy that it was in his package. Thank you, sir, so much. Now, I call this thing the Kizer Apus. It's APUS. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what we're going to call it. If I am wrong, you can let me know in the comments, but I think it's called the Apus because that's just the only logical way I can pronounce it, I guess. But anyways, it's a super cool little front flipper, and I have really been enjoying my front flippers lately. It just makes me happy throughout the day. I can play with a front flipper all day long, and this one is no exception. It's just so much fun to open the knife this way. Is it the most practical? If you practice at it, it probably could be, but it's probably not as practical as some other opening methods, but I really enjoy it. Now, this is not a huge knife, but it's very well put together. This one actually happens to be, see if I can pick this up, a prototype. So that's super cool. I'm not sure how we even acquired this prototype, but that's pretty sweet because, there's not many prototypes going around out there. And I don't, if this is the prototype, I don't know if there's anything different about the one that you might be able to purchase right now. I have no idea. They look about the same when I was looking at them online, but there might be some differences. I'm not exactly sure. So what do we have on this guy? We have a pretty cool looking clip point blade on this thing. I really enjoy the blade shape. It is kind of like a stone washed finish here. It's kind of hard to see. It's a light stone wash. Super cool chamfering and radius all the way around the blade. It is an S35 VN. It's, I like the blade shape. You can just do a lot with this blade shape, so I dig it. The scales, and it is a titanium frame lock. So the scales are copper, which I really dig. I love copper. It adds some weight to it, but I don't care. So you can see the copper scale here on the titanium frame lock kind of acts as an over travel stop. So that's super cool. Like that design. The pocket clip is nice. It is it's a titanium milled pocket clip that is done very well. Super thin right here, in the thickness. So it does have some spring in it, but it goes in and out of the pocket really well. Kind of sits it down in your pocket like this. So very cool. Like it a lot. You can tell that the copper scales have patinaed just awesomely. It's why I just love copper. It just makes me happy. You can tell. This thing, obviously, when it was brand new, would have been really nice and shiny and stuff, but I actually like it better on this patina. It just really tickles my fancy. So it is, it's got a little bit of heft to it. I believe the weight on this thing is about 4 ounces, which, you would think, okay, it's not that bad for a copper knife, but it's a little bitty thing. So, it's not very huge, but it seems to be very well made. The action on it is really sweet as far as a front flipper. It's very easy to front flip, and then when you come back down, just takes a little bit of encouragement. It's not a drop shedding knife, but it just takes a little bit of encouragement, not much at all. This one is running on bearings, and I'm not sure what kind of bearings they are, but it's super smooth. Detent is nice. Really am enjoying it. The construction looks to be relatively simple. You got the pivot, one screw there, and it has this backspacer that includes the lanyard hole on it. Gammon. So that's pretty nice. The backspacer goes up about 3/4 of the way. You can see your stop pin there. So it's a little bitty stop pin, but it's a little bitty knife. The jimping on this thing, I really like. Because as you can see, you've got jimping right there, but you also have it up here for us guys who our thumb rides a little higher. Super dig that, and it's done very well because it's not sharp at all. It just gives you that extra little reference point and grip there. So kudos on that because I love it. And then of course you have just a little bit down here where your finger lies when you hold the knife. So that's pretty cool. It's just like right on the well, not tang of the blade, but right there where it rotates around. You see that? So that's a nice touch. No jimping on the lock bar, which I actually prefer. Has this little bitty cutout here, so it's really easy to disengage. So really, really dig that. Now, as far as ergonomics are concerned, I think this knife is neutral enough to, for most people, is going to be a good knife ergonomically. Unfortunately for me, it was kind of the same way with the Finch Runtley, where I loved that knife, but it was just a little too small. This one is not the fact that it's too small, but it's where the curve goes. Like when I hold the knife right here, you can see that all of my fingers can get around it, but the fact that it bends so much right here does kind of make it a little bit less comfortable for me. We'll get some other knives out here and I'll show you similar sized knives that doesn't happen with. But I mean, it's not horrible at all. You know, I can totally use this knife. It's just not the best in my hand just because, you know, it kind of comes right there and just curves a little bit too much. You know, most knives that have this curvature long enough to where you can get in between and then your pinky kind of lands right there, but that's definitely not happening with this knife. But, you know, I can get over that because it's not like it's painful or nothing. It's just not as comfortable as some of the other knives that I have, but it's because I have these big old things. But the pocket clip, I will say this, the pocket clip disappears. I don't feel that at all. So if you got a little bit smaller hands, you'd probably fall in love with this thing because it is super well built. When it comes out, locks up solid as a rock. I really, really enjoy it. Let's go ahead and let's see about some size comparisons. I'm just going to kind of compare it to one of the other smaller front flippers that I have. This is the Civivi X-Arc. You can see they're kind of similar. The X-Arc kind of has just a little bit longer, but as you can see, this is about as neutral as it gets. And so I can get a grip on this thing. It's still barely, you know, as far as the handle size, about the same spot, but it doesn't have that hooky thing, or I don't feel it, you know, very much. I do, however, feel the pocket clip just a little bit more than I do on this guy. The pocket clip on this guy is done very, very well. But yeah, that's a thing. So, all right. And then of course, something that everybody might have, you can kind of see compared to the Para 3. So it's definitely smaller than the Para 3, and the Para 3 is not a big knife. And then another one I wanted to show you is the Kizer Sheepdog Mini. I really like this knife. This is a knife that I carry in my fifth pocket a lot. And as you can see here, it doesn't even come down to where my pinky is. And so I don't like smaller knives, but this one I can get a 3-finger grip, and it really just kind of molds right there to I don't feel uncomfortable at all, but I feel like I've got a nice enough grip to do very light tasks. This is not the perfect size for me at all. I really like to have a good full purchase, but for a 3-finger knife for me, I like this ergonomics a little bit more. And you know, you're like, hey man, that one's curved too. Yeah, and it is. But you can kind of see there, you know, how this one kind of flattens off and this one tapers just a little bit more. I don't know. It's just something about it in my hand I'm not crazy about. Like I said, not uncomfortable really. It just doesn't feel this. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm hoping you can kind of get what I'm saying. But anyway, there it is against the Kizer Sheepdog Mini. So as you can see, just a tad bit longer. And if this was just a tad bit shorter, I actually think it might even be, not have that. I think it might be just as comfortable as that knife. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you people, but that's just the way I feel. Definitely feel that this is more substantial and going to do more than the Civivi X-Arc as far as a working knife. These things are not made to work really. They're made for EDC, very light duty task. And so, but this one definitely feels more robust and sturdy of a knife. Let's go ahead and get these out of the way. So definitely well built. Now the weight on this thing, like I said, is about 4 ounces. it might turn some people off because it's such a small knife and it weighs that much, but that's the copper. You can get these things in quite a few different configurations and scales. You don't have to get the copper one, which will be lighter. So the actual overall length of this guy is only about 6.9 inches, and it's got a 3-inch cutting edge and a 3-inch blade. It's about the same, really, as far as the cutting edge and the blade from where this kind of goes down. They did a relatively good job with the plunge. I don't think that will be an issue as far as sharpening, so that's good. You know, the laser engraving on the blade is not obnoxious. I really dig that. You might see that it has a little hole here, and I was really excited about that hole. I was like, oh, I can front flip it, and I can, nope, I cannot middle finger flick this guy. I cannot get my finger back there to do it. Some people might be able to, but I can't do it. So it's just one of those things. Boy, I tried and tried, and I really wanted to be able to, but I couldn't. So, you know, that's okay. Because really, when I carry a front flipper, it's because I want to front flip it that day. It's addicting. Guys, if you have never had a front flipper, I'm telling you, the Civivi X-Arc is a pretty good one because it's relatively cheap. This one runs about $164. You know, you get an S35VN, titanium, copper in this case, but you can get carbon fiber, you can get a bunch of other stuff. So you get a lot of good materials there. So I don't think the price is that outrageous or anything. Kizer makes some really good stuff. The only Kizers that I do currently have are all the sheepdog families because I am just in love with that sheepdog design. But I really enjoy, or have enjoyed, all the Kizers that I've held in hand. They're just really well-built knives. You know, as far as the price, you know, that's kind of up to everybody, is whether or not it's worth it to you. I think it's not a bad price for what you're getting. Definitely not. Because this thing is a prototype, like I said, I'm not sure if there's any differences, but I'm hoping that the regular ones are put together as well as this, because I'm telling you, there's really nothing that I can complain about as far as fit and finish. So good. I can't get over it. Kizer, well done. I kind of just wish this thing was just either a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. It's almost like this handle shape is just in that right spot to where I'm just like, when I pick it up, God damn it, I want to go this way or I want to go that way. So, you know, if you've got big hands, kind of go with caution. You might not like this, but if you've got smaller hands than mine, I think anybody who picked this knife up would really like it. And like I said, it's not uncomfortable. It's just not that part right there. I don't know. It's not poking me or anything. It just feels weird. I don't know. Anyways, I love the front flipper. This is an excellent choice for anybody's first front flipper, especially one that you want premium in material. I cannot talk tonight. Excuse-moi. Premium materials on a front flipper, because dang, the only other front flipper that I have that has materials like that is the Centauri, the Artisan Cutlery Centauri, which will be coming in a review in a little while. So anyways, guys, that's about it on this guy. I really like it. I really do. I think it's a great design. I mean, it just looks super cool with the scale overlay over the titanium. Everything is fit and finished just wonderfully. The jimping is like killer as far as the way it's done. I really enjoy it. I think you will too. Like I said, $164. You might be able to find it, you know, a little bit more expensive, a little bit less expensive, but around that price. So if you like this knife, definitely, I would say try it out. I definitely would, because it is that well made. Guys, that's about it. If you like this kind of stuff, hit that subscribe bell. If you want to see more, hit the notification bell. I do giveaways every month, so if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified, and then you can enter to win some very cool gear. And I don't know why I'm moving my hands like this, but yeah. Anyways, you guys stay safe in this crazy world that we're living in, and we will see you in the next one.